Welcome to First Unitarian Church of Orlando. I am Linnea Nelson, chair of the worship team at 1U. Today's service is an annual ritual service that we did online only last year, and today there's also a service in Gore Hall on our campus. With me in today's service are our minister, Reverend Margalie Belizaire, 1U's Director of Lifespan Religious Enrichment, Judith Stein-Farrall, and Director of Music, Aubrey Candelario. And let's not forget our teams of wonderful people in the background working diligently to ensure that we come together this morning. We especially want to thank our tech team and flower team. We welcome all to join us as we explore our Unitarian Universalist faith, which draws us into a community of justice seekers with a commitment to lifelong spiritual growth and compassionate service to the community. Whoever you are, whoever you love, you are welcome here. You are welcome here regardless of your color, national origin, gender, sexual orientation, age, physical or mental abilities, economic status, or religious background. We welcome you. For more information about our congregation and announcements, go to orlandouu.org or email info@orlandouu.org. And today, the Worship Associates team invites you to complete a survey available online for the first 2 weeks of January. We will focus on these survey questions about worship. What speaks to you in worship services? What do you struggle with in worship services? Now, all other announcements have links in the weekly update or on our website. And thanks again for being here online today, and Happy New Year.
I'll now call us to worship with this prayer as a new year begins by Kate Lore. So sit as comfortably as you can. Close your eyes if that feels good for you, or have them as a soft gaze. Sit as comfortably as you can and listen to these words. Listen to this prayer. Great Spirit of Life, as the new year begins, we turn inward to reflect about the state of our lives. What lessons have we learned in the past year, and which new ones now call us forward? To whom do we still owe an apology or expression of thanks? And with whom must we draw fresh boundaries? As we pause from our regular rhythms of rush, 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 we open ourselves to new perspectives and possibilities. We give thanks for these moments and for the wisdom they afford us. May they help bring us together in the sacred dynamics of life so that we, as individuals and as members of this community, might reach our full potential. As we step across this threshold, let this new year be a year of greater awe and gratitude, of deeper kindness and acceptance, and more courageous acts of conviction. For a kinder, more equitable and sustainable world is not only possible, she is on her way. And in the quietness of this sacred community, can we ever hear her breathing? Beloveds, let us hold these words close to our hearts as we enter into worship together.
Our chalice lighting today comes to us from Lois Van Leer on the brink of a new year. We light this chalice on the brink of a new year, letting go of what has been, open and hopeful for what may come, renewed, restored, ready to live life fully anew. May we move forward with intention.
This is the season of endings and beginnings, when the small signs of dawn pierce through the night and something new is born. But first, comes the waiting. First comes the lessons of endings and beginnings. The presence of life, the sheltering spirit of love, grieves with those sweeping up the debris of loss, waits with those who relentlessly reach out for change, grants us courage in the night to guard each other's dreams for this holy, wondrous universe. May we loosen our grip on that which doesn't serve us, leave behind that which we have outworn and outgrown. Teach us the lessons of beginnings. Remind us that such waitings and endings may be a starting place, a planting of seeds which bring to birth what is ready to be born, something right and just and different, a new song, a deeper relationship, a fuller love, and the fullness of time. These are the words of Reverend Jessica Hewitt, reminding us of that in-between time, the waiting. Dear ones, here we are at the threshold of yet another year, or maybe we have slightly entered, not quite at the threshold. It feels though as if we were just here. Where did an entire year go? This has me reflecting on how we go from one thing to the next. So often in our lives, we rush headlong into the next thing on our to-do list. For many of us, there is no other way because so much needs to be done. So much. Today, we want to invite you to honor that sacred in-between time, that transition period from one task to the other, from one moment to the next, 1 year to the next, the waiting, which many times is non-existent. Today, we invite you to take a moment to slow down and linger a bit at the doorway of this current year and what's to come. To reflect on the blessings, the lessons, the praises, the blames, the joys, and the sorrows. In this ritualistic service, we invite you to let go of that which no longer serves you, to plant seeds of intention to grow in the new year or decades. Be blessed and bless others, to connect and to move as the Spirit moves you. During our time together this morning, we will offer you opportunities to engage in the following ways. Move through embodied meditation. Set intentions or aspirations as to how we connect better at the church community this year. To reflect on 2022 and the lessons and gifts we can take with us to 2023 and beyond, while letting go of what did not serve us, and to bless one another. Also, during our time together today, and preferably afterwards, if you find that you have something you've been meaning to say to someone, maybe it's one of the things that you didn't get to tend to, I invite you to take time to write that person a message, or you may want to write a message to yourself. I invite you to maybe make a phone call to someone you've been meaning to make a call to. And if you feel so moved to write a letter to yourself, as I just mentioned, I mean paper and pencil, or paper or pen to paper, a letter that you might wish to open next year, a year from now. I commit that if you drop that letter off at the church office to me, I will mail it to you a year from now. Actually, I engaged in this very exercise this week and mailed out a couple of letters to people who dropped off letters last year. I can do that. So, As we begin, let's take a collective breath together. Our opening hymn is Find a Stillness, which will serve as bookends to our time together, as well as to signal our transition from one offering to the next. So you'll hear it throughout our time together as an anchor or as a reminder in our context together to find stillness, to help us create stillness for one another. So as much as you are able, let us settle a bit in the waiting. And as you are willing and able, I invite you to sing along hymn number 353 from the Gray Hymnal, Find a Stillness.
Find a stillness, oh, the stillness, let the stillness carry me. Find the silence, oh, the silence, let the silence carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find a true harmony. Seek the essence, oh, the essence, let the essence carry me. Let me flower, help me flower, watch me flower, carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony.
Today's Time for All Ages is a story called The Fisherman and the Businessman by Paul Coelho. Slides and reading by me, Judith Stein-Farrall. There was once a businessman who was sitting by the beach in a small Brazilian village. As he sat, he saw a Brazilian fisherman rowing a small boat towards the shore, having caught quite a few big fish. The businessman was impressed and asked the fisherman, "How long does it take you to catch so many fish?" The fisherman replied, "Oh, just a short while." "Then why don't you stay longer at sea and catch even more?" The businessman was astonished. "This is enough to feed my whole family," the fisherman said. The businessman then asked, "So what do you do for the rest of the day?" The fisherman replied, "Well, I wake up early in the morning, go to the sea and catch a few fish, then go back and play with my kids, and in the afternoon I take a nap with my wife, and when evening comes I join my buddies in the village for a drink. We play guitar, we sing and dance throughout the night." The businessman offered a suggestion to the fisherman. "I am a PhD in business management. I could help you become a more successful person. From now on, you should spend more time at sea and try to catch as many fish as possible. When you have saved enough money, you could buy a bigger boat and catch even more fish. Soon you will be able to afford to buy more boats, set up your own company, your own production plant for canned food and distribution network. By then, you will have moved out of this village and to Sao Paulo, where you can set up the headquarters to manage the other branches. The fisherman continues. And after that? The businessman laughs heartily. After that, you can live like a king in your own house, and when the time is right, you can go public and float your shares in the stock exchange, and you will be rich. The fisherman asks, and after that? The businessman says, and after that, you can finally retire. You can move to a house by the fishing village, wake up early in the morning, catch a few fish, and then return home to play with your kids. Have a nice afternoon nap with your wife. And when the evening comes, you can join your buddies for a drink, play guitar, and sing and dance throughout the night.
This is the time set aside for deep sharing of our hearts and for prayer and meditation. Bring your joys and your sorrows as we come together. Come as you are. Your whole self is welcome in this sacred space we are creating together. And as we make space for the joys, concerns, and sorrows of this congregation, I invite you to join in our communion of names and at the name of those who are on your heart this morning, whether due to a joy or a concern. From the 1U community, we know that many are hospitalized or dealing with COVID and other medical conditions. I want you to know that you are in our hearts and we are sending you healing energy. I have a sorrow of my own to share with you. I learned on Tuesday evening, that my father, who lived in South Florida, died on Tuesday night. I was grateful to be able to see him right before he died, actually. About 20 minutes before he died. It was by video, but I did get a chance to see him and say goodbye. And he lived a long life. He was 97. Even so, it is still a life that is gone. Someone I was connected to who's gone. So I wanted you to be aware that I am dealing with this grief presently. Thank you. I want to now invite you into a moment of embodied meditation. So if you would rise, either in body or spirit, if you're willing and able to stand, and we will go through this movement type exercise. If I will do it the first time just to show us what we'll be doing together. They're simple movement, but please pay attention to your own body and see what it's telling you to do, whether or not it's a movement that feels right in your body. So this is a meditation that you and I have done together before, although I'm not sure if you remember it, but I think you'll come to recognize it as we do it. So the first part is, may my mind be clear. May my heart be open. May my body and spirit be one, so that I may serve the world in love and return safely home. And we'll do this 4 times. We'll first use my, and then we'll use you, and then we'll use our, and then go back to my. Okay, are you ready? May my mind be clear. May my heart be open. May my body and spirit be one, so that I may serve the world in love and return safely home. May your mind be clear. May your heart be open. May your body and spirit be one, so that you may serve the world in love and return safely home. May our hearts, may our minds be clear. May our hearts be open. May our bodies and spirits be one, so that we may serve the world in love and return safely home. May my mind be clear. May my heart be open. May my body and spirit be one, so that I may serve the world in love and return safely home. Beloveds, this is just a reminder to, in the year 2023 and beyond, for us to, whenever possible, however possible, however our bodies will allow us to just take a moment every now and again to move our bodies. May it be so. We are first and foremost a religious community at First Unitarian Church of Orlando. We need one another to grow in our spirituality, as religion is best practiced in community. We grow best when we connect with one another and when we are intentional about nurturing healthy and supportive relationships within this community. The space of intention is sacred. An intention space is also one of commitment, a space of aspiration, where we aspire to do and be our best. So let's always be intentional about building deeper relationships with each other and a stronger community. In that vein, I invite you to take a couple of minutes to reflect on a question which I will pose shortly. After you have reflected on that question, write your response down on a piece of paper. You can also share it in the chat if you are willing and able to do so. Now, here is the question. What is one new thing you will do in 2023 to feel more connected to First Unitarian Church of Orlando? What is one new thing you will do in 2023 to feel more connected to the First Unitarian Church of Orlando? We will also have this question on the screen for you. And if you are willing to, if you could drop your question off at the office for me, you could do so. You can have your name on it, or you could leave your question anonymously. But let's take a couple of minutes to think about that for a second. Having planted this intention into the soil of the 1U community, let's not forget to act upon it. You have outwardly shared your intention to further connect in this year. Remember to also write it down for yourself. After worship, you might decide to reflect further on what is needed to support you in acting on your intention. Maybe you want to do something, but you need to reach out to somebody else in the 1U community or to me. Please think about that and reach out as you need to. It might be helpful to you to keep your commitment if you share it with another person as a way of being accountable. If that is the case, do so. Share it, as that might be helpful to you. Whatever the case may be, may you, may I, may all of us connect in new ways in this community and this year, during 2023. May it be so.
We invite you now into the practice of generosity. It is one of our spiritual values which sustains the life and ministries of the church community. Let us be grateful for the opportunity to give, for it is a privilege to be able to do so. And let us be grateful for our needs, for they give us the opportunity to practice receiving. Our Share the Plate for January is a coalition for the homeless in Central Florida. Please use the link in the newsletter or on the screen to donate directly to them and let 1U know that you donated. Please use the options on the slide to make your donation. Your financial gift today will be joyfully received in the spirit of gratitude and fellowship.
Sometimes the healthy way forward is to leave something behind. The turning of a year is a good time to take stock of what in your life is no longer serving you well. And by leaving it behind, you can focus your energy on what lies ahead. The turning of the year is a good time also to take stock of what is good in your life and what is serving you well. It is a way of practicing gratitude and appreciation, a way of noticing beauty within all the ugliness. Yes, this past year, we collectively have had to deal with so many intense challenges in the larger world community, in addition to those that an average year brings with it. Although really, the past few years have brought a lot with them. Still, I am inviting you to pause for a couple of minutes and see if there is one new thing or new way of being that you would like to continue in 2023 and beyond. What new wondrous thing have you learned about yourself that is serving you well? What new gifts have you discovered? What new practice? Take a couple of minutes and reflect on the past year as you listen to music. Think about something that is not serving you want to leave behind, and think about something that has served you well that you want to keep with you in 2023 and beyond. Then, as you feel moved to do so, please post in the chat and share with others who are in community with you here this morning. May we take what served us into 2023 and leave behind what hindered us. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. These words resonate with my spirit, and they allow me to be grounded in the idea that all that we do has the potential to be sacred, to be holy. Ponder that a little bit. I do believe that it is true. To me, though, this requires mindfulness. It requires intentionality and love on our part. As spiritual beings, we have it within us to bless one another. And what better time for us to bestow blessings upon each other than at the dawn of a new year? Let's bless one another right here, right now. Let's strengthen one another's spirit for the year ahead. Maybe you want to bless all who are gathered online with you this morning. Maybe you want to bless them with good health. Or maybe there's one person in particular that you want to bless with peace of mind. Yet others you want to bless with financial stability, joy, and so on. As you are willing and able, share your blessing and blessings in the chat. And keep in mind, there may be a person that you want to bless who is not gathered here online with you. It may mean reaching out and making a phone call or sending an email or even a text. If that's what you need to do, that is more important. Take a moment and do so now. You can also do so after the service today. Just take the time, somebody who's been on your mind, on your heart, that you just have some well wishes for, somebody you just want to reach out and bless. Take a moment and do so now. Or after the service, reach out to that person. So let's take a moment to do that. Take a moment, clear your mind, open your heart, and bring your body and spirit in accord. May you have deep knowing that you are blessed and you are a blessing. This is the season of endings and beginnings, when the small signs of dawn pierce through the night and something new is born. But first comes the waiting. Reverend Hewitt reminds us. Dear ones, we are just 9 days into a new year, new hopes. We're still in that in-between time, that waiting. Much happens in the waiting, though. Much can happen. Taking stock, for example, having closed out the past year and looking ahead to the next. I invite you to continue to meditate on how you journeyed in 2022, how your church community served you and how you were of service to the congregation, what lessons you've learned and what blessings you received. To look at it all as much as you're able, the praises, the blames, the joys, and the sorrows. Write it down. Do a video or audio recording. Take a picture. Write a letter to commemorate this waiting. Maybe you'll return to it at a later time, but first comes the waiting.
Find a stillness, hold a stillness, let the stillness carry me. Find the silence, hold the silence, let the silence carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony. Seek the essence, oh the essence, let the essence carry me. Let me flower, help me flower, watch me flower, carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony.
May we move our bodies to the best of our abilities in this new year. May we find ways to connect at First Unitarian Church of Orlando and in the larger community. May we take what serves us into 2023 and leave behind what hindered us. May we have deep knowing that we are blessed and we are a blessing. May it be so. Beloveds, worship has ended, and now the service truly begins.
We extinguish the flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.